chaplain. And Henry VIII is like, what? And he's like, nothing, I was just coughing. And then Dr. Wendy says, tell me what's really bothering you. And Henry VIII says, I think that I'm going to get my wife arrested because she's saying that I'm not the absolute massive head of the church. And Dr. Wendy's like, well, I think your wife is a wonderful woman doing some incredible things for the country, but you're the king, you can do what you like. I just think that maybe I should have a copy of that arrest warrant. And Henry's like, that seems out of the blue, out of nowhere. No, it doesn't. You're just very sick. And Henry's like, okay, of course you can have that. And so Henry VIII gives him a copy of the arrest warrant, and Dr. Wendy says, I promise I will never tell anybody directly what you have told me in this room. Dr. Wendy knows exactly what he needs to do, which is to never, ever break his word to the King Henry VIII. He walks along the corridor and he allows the arrest warrant to drop. Coincidentally, just outside Catherine Parr's room. Catherine has just finished Protestant club, so she's looking forward to just getting back to her room, putting on her pyjamas, going to bed. What's this on the floor? It's got her name on it, so it wouldn't be rude to read, and... oh, it's an arrest warrant because she has dared to contradict her master, the king. Something needs to be done, something needs to be done very quickly, or they're going to arrest her tomorrow morning. And she knows what happens after they arrest her. They accuse you of incest, witchcraft, treason, and then they kill you. She looks up to the sky, to the god who she thinks lives there. And she says, I feel very sick all of a sudden. And so we don't know. Maybe she was very sick from stress, or whether she was just biding time. Catherine Parr laid in her bed until she was ready to speak to the king about what had been going on. And like straight away from that afternoon, Henry's like, Catherine. And Catherine goes, not today, dear. I am terribly poorly in my woman's parts. And then he comes again just before bedtime. Can I say good night? Oh, don't come into my room. My room's haunted. And then the next morning, Catherine, I brought you some soup. She's like, no, look, I'm bleeding out right now. I'm sorry about the sheets. I'll replace them. And he keeps going away. He's getting more and more worried, which means that she knows she's got him exactly where she wants him. So after a few days, he knocks very tentatively, like, my love? And she says, okay, but don't be shocked by my visage. And when Henry walks in, she explains to him that all she ever wanted was to be exciting for him. She was a silly little woman asking questions. And she says, please, I've been asking questions. Tell me, how should people relate to their God? And Henry's like, oh, you wanted me to tell you? And she says, yes, all I've ever wanted was to interest you, bemuse you, or perhaps maybe distract you from that ulcerated leg. And Henry goes like, ho, 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 I thought you was doing a plot against me. And she's like, no, ever since you kind of put your flaccid penis inside me, we've been the very best of friends. And then Catherine and Henry embraced as only a woman who doesn't really love a man and a really fat man can embrace. And Catherine was like, let's just now live together happily for the rest of your days. I mean, our days. So on the 28th of January, 1547, Henry VIII dies. It's the worst day of Catherine Parr's life. And she realizes, I can marry Thomas Seymour. Oh no, I'm so sad. No, honestly, I'm really sad. I'm sorry you're dead. How long do I have to wait officially? And that is how the most murderous king ever got bested by a lady with attitude. Catherine Parr.